friends, how have you begun this new year 2025? I must apologize because I haven't recorded any videos for the last month or so, but I must say that I have been out for the count with the house so busy for Christmas and lots of people staying. But I'm back in the kitchen with a recipe, guess where? This is a recipe from the south of Spain, from the region of Andalucia, which I've been doing for some time because it happens to be one of my husband's favorite dishes. And it's the stew. It's a cuttlefish stew with potato. Okay? And I've got the products that we need here. Very, very simple ingredients, like we usually do in my dishes. Basically, what we're going to need today is, I'm cooking this for 2-3 people, okay? So not making it big today, yeah? So we have, in this case, 2 small, this is clean cuttlefish from the fishmongers. I'm using 2 of those, but it could well be a bigger one, okay? So we got the clean cuttlefish, which, by the way, I think is nowadays one of the seafoods that is still affordable, and it makes for a lot of tasty recipes, and it's enjoyed by almost everyone, so I highly recommend it. We got 4 small potatoes, right? Like I said, for 2 people or maybe 3. 1 middle-sized onion, and that's what we will need for the stew, because this dish is actually cooked in 2 parts. First, we'll do the stew with the potatoes and the cuttlefish in a few minutes. Very, very simple. And then, second part of the recipe comes the dressing, okay? For the dressing, it's basically almonds, which have not been peeled, okay? You will see that I, mash them, or you can grind them in the grinder. Okay, so it has to be ground, the almond, and a few parsley leaves, okay? And, of course, good extra virgin olive oil, okay? So those are the simple ingredients that we need for this. And let's get started. I'm finishing with the cuttlefish now. I've got it all in small bits, maybe not too small. I use my kitchen scissors, and I say in small bits because remember, this is something that you're going to eat with a spoon, so they have to be able to fit in a tablespoon. That's the idea. So we got the 2 small cuttlefish here in bits. I've been doing the potato. I usually chunk it off like this. Same idea, small bits of potato, because they have to first cook reasonably quickly, and also they have to fit in your spoon. Alright, so that's all you need for the stew. We got the minced onion, not too finely chopped, okay? The 3 potatoes, or 4 small potatoes, and the 2 cuttlefish. And in a pan, okay, just a squirt of olive oil, because that's all you need for the ingredients not to stick to the bottom, but you don't need any more oil for that now. Okay. I set it on high for a minute, but this stew is going to be cooked in low heat, okay? And we'll be adding, I forgot, 1 clove of garlic and 1 bay leaf, okay? So it's going to go down, all of it, in a minute. Okay. Cuttlefish. The order doesn't matter too much. Remember the garlic? And the onion. As easy as apple pie. A good stir in the bay leaf. And we're going to add the salt now and lower the heat. And we want it really low now, okay? I'm going to add a little bit of salt, about this quantity, okay? Right. Give it another stir. And most importantly, this needs the lid on, okay? Because we're not adding any stock, we're not adding any water. It'll be just the juice from the onion and from the cuttlefish and the potatoes themselves that will come out and blend the stew together. And I can tell you, it's going to be delicious. How long? Well, it will depend on your cooker. I remind you again, on low heat always, but until the potatoes are tender, okay? Because the cuttlefish doesn't need any longer than the potatoes do, okay? So, oh, well, this is cooking. These are my olives. I've been pickling olives today, or putting them in preserve in a few jars. Homemade olives, home pickled olives are ever so nice and easy to make. So I, try not to waste any from the 8 olive trees in our garden. And, when they're done and they marinate sufficiently, it's a lovely present for the family, and for salads at home, it's a real treat. So now for the second part, this is what we need to add on to the stew. Remember the almonds represented? It's like, I would say, like a handful, no more, okay? And they'll have to be ground in a minute. And a few parsley leaves or twigs, and I'm going to finely chop them. Oh, goodness. I do it by hand because it's quicker, and you don't want it too finely chopped for this, okay? So even with a bit of stalk attached to it. Okay, right. That's all we're going to need to add. The potatoes are now tender, so the stew is done, basically. I'm going to taste for salt, and I think I'm going to add just a tiny bit more. Okay, and the pepper. Okay, and I'll take the opportunity to pour in the parsley now, okay? Be generous with fresh parsley. It's full of vitamins for you, okay? Good stir again. Oh, this is almost done. It smells so good. Right, so we're on for the final step now. The main ingredient of the dressing that we finally need to add to the stew is the ground almond. You can see that is ground, but not too powder, not too finely ground, so that it remains a bit chunky and ready for to be slightly toasted on the frying pan using the extra virgin olive oil. Okay, so this is the final step for the stew. Okay, I'm going to. This needs to be done very, very gently, and there's one thing that you need to pay attention to with detail in in this recipe, okay? Olive oil on top. We don't need to cover it completely, but you know, just like that. And then, okay, once you've got it in, just for a few minutes, begin to toast it, but very, very gently, because you don't want to burn the almond. Burnt almond, or almonds that have been toasted for too long, begin to acquire bitter taste, and obviously that's a no-no for this recipe. So almost there, okay. It's been simmering for like, a few minutes on very low heat, and the almond has released a bit of juice and taken on a bit of color from the olive oil. So we've basically been toasting this, and I think it's ready to be added on to the stew, okay, which is what we're going to do right now. The smell of it. Okay, here it goes. Can you hear the simmering? And all you need is a good stir. Leave it for a minute or two for the flavors to blend together. Okay. Cover it up for a minute. Take the heat off, and it's ready to be served. So the cuttlefish and potato stew is ready. All the flavors blended together. Okay. Look how creamy and colorful it has become. And these nutritionally, with the carbohydrates from the potato and all the proteins of the seafood, this is nutritionally a marvel. And it goes really well with our good local white wine. Buen provecho.